space. In outer space.
In outer space, space. In outer space. In outer space. In outer space. Alright. Welcome to episode 0022 of the Vast Differences podcast. I'm ThügLife.
And I'm Charity.
And
today we're going to talk about
video game
pizza.
addictions.
Oh my God.
I'm serious.
You're so mean.
No, I'm talking about it for myself. I got addicted to a video game recently.
Did you?
So it's just a coincidence that you told me a second ago that you're addicted to video games again because we can commiserate.
All right. Nice. We are two people, same soul. Same video game soul, at least.
Yes. But first, an advertisement from our advertiser.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix.com. Watch any movie, anytime, anywhere. Starting at only $8.99 per month. Netflix. Watch. You're gonna watch. Sign up by March 15th at netflix.com/vdpod, and you'll get to take part in a special beta VIP membership program with access to perks, such as early access to new shows and director commentary. Netflix.com.
That's really cool that they, we're hooking our loyal listeners up by giving them access to this beta VIP program. Also, I really like their new tagline. It's much better than the old one. The old one was Netflix, what's next? And now it's Netflix. Watch. You're going to watch.
I like that too. Very punny.
Part of the joy of Netflix, I think, is just browsing around and deciding what you're going to watch. Sometimes I'll just be like, okay, I'm kind of bored. I want to watch some Netflix. I'll look around for like 30 minutes and I'm like, I feel satisfied. And I don't even watch anything. I just look for something to watch. I go about my
That's
day.
how I feel in the library. Just reading all these possible books that I can read and don't pick one. Or looking at 30 and only choose like 3. And then I'm like satisfied because I feel like I read a lot.
It's kind of like a metaphor for life, though, because a lot of happiness we derive from the freedom to choose whatever we want to do. Just having open opportunities, just the possibilities that are endless. And when we actually do something, it's like, I kind of just want to not be doing anything again.
But there's actually this thing called tyranny of choice. So when you have too many options and you don't choose anything because you're just overwhelmed by all the possibilities. That happens to me so often. And
Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, God, I hate cheesecake. Why would you even say cheesecake?
Have you heard Cheesecake Factory? Have you ever been there?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never been there because it's gross.
Rest assured, cheesecakes is only 0.01% of their offerings. They have a whole encyclopedia of a menu. You can literally order any food on the planet from that restaurant. And so it's difficult. You get there and you're like, it's going to take me 30 minutes just to look through this menu. I don't know what I want to eat. And then once you order something, just like you said, you're left with that doubt. What if I would have ordered the lasagna? Would I be happier right now?
That's when you order 2 things. But also, why would they only name something, their whole restaurant, after only 0.1% of their menu?
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's a travesty. Whoever came up with the new Netflix tagline needs to do a branding rehaul over Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah. What you gotta eat?
Kind of works. I wonder if whoever their parent company, they could buy the other, and then there's
vertical integration.
Vertical integration, where you've got LCD screens at each table. Ooh, LCD screens and the menu, and it recommends you a food based on the show you picked, or vice versa. Like if you pick The Sopranos, it's going to recommend you spaghetti. If you pick Karate Kid, it's going to recommend you spaghetti. Because the kid was Italian. Did you forget
that? Okay. All right, cool.
So video game addictions.
Speaking of Italian, no, I had a better segue.
Okay, go for it.
Speaking of Italians, pizza. Am I right?
Is that your topic for today?
Yeah, that's my topic for today.
Ooh, that is my favorite thing on earth. Pizza. It's the best.
It shows how much you listen to me.
So, what's your favorite type of pizza from what restaurant?
Well, in Korea, there's not really good pizza choices.
Are you kidding me? Korea perfected the pizza. There's this place called like Eto Pizzeria that has nachos pizza, where every individual slice has an individually artisan crafted nacho on it.
You bite your tongue, you heathen.
It's delicious. I'll send you a picture of
No.
it. It's
Let
incredible.
me tell you about my first experience eating pizza in Korea. And I hope that I didn't say this early on in the podcast, but even if I did and you didn't listen to the episode, here's this same story again. So, it was my first or second day in Korea, and I was super hungry, and I wanted to eat some food, and I didn't want to eat Korean food yet because it was like only my second day in the country, and I wanted something that reminded me of home. So I was in this grocery store, and I saw that they were selling pizza, and I was like, okay, that's pretty American. I'll get some pizza. I got a pizza, and I went home, and I was so happy. And I opened the box, and it looked so delicious, and it smelled good, and it looked pretty normal. I took a bite and immediately spit it back out because instead of using tomato sauce as the base, they used red bean paste. And
disgusting.
it was the most disgusting
It's
thing I
abomination.
ever tasted. I threw the whole pizza away. It was like a waste of $10. And I went to bed hungry. And I was so sad. I went down to the convenience store at the bottom of my building and bought a bag of chips and some M&Ms. But it was not as satisfying as pizza. And I was so disappointed. From then on, I've never had a good relationship with Korea and pizza. But then I found this restaurant that has so good pizza. They have American style pizza, and I've been eating there so constantly that the people greet me when I walk in the door. It's my favorite customer.
So we can't blame all of Korea. That's painting with the very broad strokes. That's not what Vast Difference is about, as I always say.
Okay, this is coming from the person who accused all cops of being corrupt.
But
But let's hold back on pizza, guys. Give pizza a chance.
the Pizza Hut there is really delicious. It's got normal pizza, but then they also do crazy things with the crust. You can get deluxe
ThügLife.
4-level crusts with all these different types of cheeses inside of it and sweet.
No.
Yeah.
No, no. I went to Pizza Hut one time and I never went back again because they put mayonnaise on my pizza and corn.
That's the thing.
And I was just
corn and pizza. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But mayonnaise? Come on, man.
Well, that is pretty gross.
Mayonnaise
but I think
belongs
we can all
in
agree
the
that the best pizza
garbage.
on earth is Domino's thin crust, half pepperoni mushroom, half Italian sausage, extra cooked so it's crispy and almost black.
So we know what ThügLife ate for his time in university. Every single day.
Ramen.
No, ramen pizza? Well, that sounds gross. Actually, that sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, we should try it.
No, it doesn't
Crispy
work.
ramen, though, not cooked. Just little crisps of chunks of crisp ramen.
Okay, I don't get people who eat raw ramen.
It's the best. I stopped almost cooking it. I would cook it for just very lightly, like a rare steak, where just enough to get some hot water in there and then just crunch through it with the seasoning. It's delicious.
Yeah, you should do that with chicken too. The viewers can't see me, but I just had a very good evil expression on my face. It was classic. It was headshot worthy. I could have been cast as an evil villain with that look.
What do you get when Beyonce eats a chicken raw?
Salmonella.
Ella.
Oh my God. Okay, this is another example of ThügLife mixing up African American superstars.
What are you talking? Who is it? Who sings that?
That's not Beyonce. That's Rihanna. Or Rihanna, however she
cut
says
that
her
out.
name.
I'm absolutely.
No, you better not. Because this is becoming a
It has
running
nothing to
theme.
do with being African American. It has to do with me not knowing anything about pop music.
Yeah, but then I get to put that in there just to make it even worse. Like mayonnaise on pizza.
I really apologize. I didn't mean for that to come across as offensive. I just know that Rihanna is the most popular pop star on earth, and that most of the songs that I hear are
It's
probably
not
hers.
offensive at all. Well, at least it's not offensive to me. But I found it very amusing. You're like a grandpa that keeps mixing up dates. Today is not Wednesday. Okay, I'm making my own self laugh. And we know that when I make my own self laugh, most people don't.
So, video games, you're into Sims again?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got me by the by the throat, and it's not letting me go anytime soon. Especially because like I downloaded a new neighborhood because I didn't even continue my old game. I started a new game. I was in like my 8th generation of my old game, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with that neighborhood. I'm gonna download a new one. So now I'm back to generation 1, well, generation 2 now,
Congrats.
and it's just like everything is so new in this whole neighborhood. I haven't explored it yet. There's so much stuff to do. And yeah, blah, 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 blah. Charity's addicted again.
And how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great. I feel so alive. Watching other people have a life. It's amazing.
Not even real people, virtual people.
You know what? You bite your tongue, you heathen. Second time this episode. Can we go for 3? But anyway, Sims and also Splinter Cell and Tomb Raider. Like I actually switched between those 3 games all day long.
But at least with those games, at the end of your playing period of 2 or 4 or 8 or 12 hours or however long you play, you have something to show for it. You've made progress, and the next day you can come back to that and feel a sense of accomplishment. Over the past 2 weeks, I got addicted to this game called Slither.io on the internet, which is just one of those free play against stranger internet games where basically you're just a snake slithering around, eating these little orbs like Pac-Man. And the more you eat, the bigger you grow. And then if you run into another snake, you just explode into all your little particles. And they'll come and eat up your particles, and they'll grow bigger. And so the point is just to become the biggest snake of all by causing other people to crash and eating all their particles. And I don't know what it is about it. It's just so chaotic. It's like late-stage capitalism. Everybody is just cutthroat, like causing each other to crash, like circling like vultures, trapping each other. But the colors are so beautiful, and I don't know. There's just something about that juxtaposition that makes it so fun to play. And I got into it to where I started like having blood vessels in my eyeballs were exploding. And stuff.
Oh my goodness!
Stop. This is too much. So I started doing this thing where every game I play, and the game can last anywhere from 1 second to indefinitely, depending on how good you do. Every single game I play, I have to do either 10 push-ups or 20 sit-ups and 1 lesson of Japanese. So if I go through like 5 games, normally I would keep playing, but I'm like, oh dang, I got to do 50 push-ups and 5 Japanese lessons. I better stop. So it's I think it's a good strategy though, taking something that's kind of like a bad habit and turning it into something that's also causing productivity to happen in my life. So like harnessing the power of my addiction to do good stuff.
That's a really interesting concept. See, okay, so now you do have something to show for it. What are you talking about? You have progress. You get to see how many more push-ups.
I just started that today.
Oh, you started that today? Well, now you'll get to see progress. I think the only progress that I can show for it is seeing like my butt imprint on the couch or the chair I'm sitting in. Oh, wait, I can see how long I said that today because it is very detailed.
But you also get the joy of watching your Sims grow up from children, fall in love, get married, have degrees, get murdered. That can happen on The Sims, right?
Kind of. Not murder per se, but murder by the game. Like in one of my games, there was like a paparazzi outside my house, and it was too hot outside, and they both just burst into flame. And one died, and their ashes were left outside on my driveway, and no one came to pick it up. So when my sim got home, he just had to pick up these ashes and put them in a trash can, and that was the end of them.
Who made this game? Al Gore?
So yeah.
Well.
Oh, and one time I'm going to tell you another story because I'm interesting. One time my children went to prom, and it was like a whole school full of teenagers having fun at prom, and I kept getting notifications. Oh, they got to dance with their crush, and oh, they were named prom king and queen, and oh my God, there's a meteor heading right for the school, and the meteor crashed into the school and killed all their children. And I sat at my computer with the most shocked look on my face because that never happened before. And the Grim Reaper came and he ripped all those children, but you can't read them from inside the building, so they all had to leave. And then they died outside the building, and the Grim Reaper took their souls. And I was so flabbergasted. I turned my game off without saving, and I didn't open it up for 6 months. I think that's what caused me to stop playing The Sims.
Wow, I wonder if they built that in as like an auto defense mechanism against intense addiction. Like when they see somebody is like playing